Stockholm out. Hopefully it happens when it's supposed to happen today. Last time it didn't. It took a little while, but if not, I just started anyway, so we should be okay. And you'll get a little bit of a sail out here. Hopefully, mic is good. The audio is good. The visual is good. Let me know in the comments if you can hear me. I see we got some people on here already. A bunch of my friends. Richard L's in the house. What's going on, man? It's nice seeing you on the Island Princess we stayed on after you left and did 2 more weeks. Oh, that's very cool, Steve. Yeah, Island Princess was great. I love that ship. On Sky again. I love Sky too. Steve says Lithuania, Latvia, Estonia, and Poland. So I did Poland and Estonia. I loved Estonia, by the way. If you're going, I don't know if you're going to Tallinn or not, but Tallinn has been one of my favorite places I've been to so far. Robert says perfect audio, awesome. Sounds good. Just sounds like you might have a cold. Maybe I'm a little bit stuffy. I think that's from walking around in the cold. My cruise buddy from the Sky Princess, which I'm on right now, Andrea, is in the house. What's going on, Andrea? Hold on, I'm going to try to move this just a little bit, get maybe a little bit better. There we go. But yeah, Rachel Carlson's in the house, says, I was finishing a Zoom call and your notification came up. Yeah, I put out this morning, I figured my Wi-Fi looks like it's pretty good. My LTE data looks like it's pretty good from the ship, so I figured I'd go ahead and go live since it's a Saturday. Someone said, I'm going to Thailand in January. That's awesome. I might be there in January. We shall see. Steve says Tallinn was great. I got to go back on Wednesday. Nice seeing you. Nice seeing that you have a balcony. Yeah, I'm digging the balcony room. Kaylee's in the house. What's going on, Kaylee? Hey, I just saw someone post about some great single rates on Princess for South America, and I thought of you. Awesome. That's good to hear that there's some deals out there. Hola from Mexico. What's going on? Why you tripping's in the house? All right, so we are currently in Sweden, like I mentioned before, and let me get my little list. So far, we've went to, on this cruise, we've went to, I'm going to butcher these names, GDYNIA, Visby, Sweden, Tallinn, Estonia, Helsinki, which we were in Helsinki yesterday, and then today Stockholm. Our next port, which will be 2 days from now, is Warnemünde, Germany. I screwed that up, I'm sure. Then we're in Aarhus, Denmark, Copenhagen, Denmark, and then Kristiansand, Norway again. I've done a lot of Norway. But Sky Princess does something really cool now. They didn't do this last time I was on here, and I haven't seen this on any other Princess ship. But they give you basically this itinerary. I'll kind of put it up close sideways. And what it has on it is the name of the place you're going, but also if you can, how long it takes to walk from the ship, where the ship is docking, to the center of town, which for me, as someone who doesn't really do excursions, has been very handy. The only place that we have been to that's not within walking distance since I've been on this ship is Copenhagen. It's in walking distance, but it's 5 miles. I mean, that's a long walk. 5 miles is a long walk, even for someone like me that likes to walk. So that's great. Hey, if you don't mind smashing that thumbs up, I'd appreciate it. It helps more people find the live stream. I do these things unannounced now, so. But if you have any questions about cruising, about Princess, about travel in general, I saw someone's going to Thailand soon. I spent a lot of time in Thailand, and I will probably be spending a lot of time there in the future. Throw your question out there. Make sure you write question before you put it out there, stuff like that. So European, Scandinavian, really cool. Yeah. It's been cool being in Europe. You know, after spending so much time in the Caribbean, it's been great being in Europe. Anywhere is walking distance if you have the time. Good point. Good point. Have you booked anything past December? No, I haven't yet. I'm actually, my mother is having surgery, so I'm going to go help her for a little bit. I actually might have to cancel a couple of my cruises that are scheduled a couple months from now. help her out. Then we're going to go to Venice and then do our cruise. And then I'm not sure exactly after that yet. Probably be Asia, but I haven't finalized any of that yet. I'm still working on some things about that. So I don't really want to like announce it yet because it's not official. Any problem catching an Uber? So I've never tried to catch an Uber. For the most part, we've been in walking distance of any of the main city center areas, and the only place that I wasn't in walking distance, I got the hop on, hop off bus. So I've never tried to grab an Uber over here. Are you planning to do the Baltics? Yes. Any problem catching an Uber? Already read that one. Yeah, I've got Baltic cruise coming up and Mediterranean cruise coming up. And a British Isles cruise coming up. So super excited. Super excited. Yeah, it's very minor surgery. No one needs to worry about it. It's very minor, but she'll probably need some help. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Any other ships in harbor with you here? There are some smaller cruise lines that I've never heard of that have, names on them with a bunch of consonants in a row. So it's no cruise line I've ever heard of, and there's much smaller cruise lines. So I'm assuming there's some kind of local, like Scandinavian, Nordic type cruise lines. Steve says, Connie and I want to do a British Isles cruise. That'll be awesome. That'll be awesome, Steve. I'm on the Regal Princess on mine. Getting old sucks sometimes. Got to spend time with you will be something she can look forward to. Yeah, I'm super excited about the cruise with my mother. I've already booked it. I booked her a balcony, of course. And I'm in an inside cabin, but I've been getting lucky with my inside cabins lately. I've been getting upgraded to balconies, and I think we're on which Princess? We're on Enchanted Princess, and I think they have those really cool ocean view rooms. So hopefully I get one of those. Steve says I like Regal Princess. Yeah, I haven't been on Regal Princess yet, so it'll be my first time on that ship. Hey, Lynn the Okie, what's going on? How you doing? We're just chilling, waiting to get underway here from Stockholm. Headed to, where did I say we were headed to? Somewhere in Germany. Somewhere in Germany. Let's see. Warnemunde. Warnemunde, something like that. Mike B says, question, please remind me again, if I purchase 100 shares of Carnival stock, I can receive 100 onboard credit each time I sail on Carnival or Princess. So you can receive up to 250 onboard credit. I think if your cruise is 14 days or more, you get 250 onboard credit. That's why, like, sometimes with Princess, you're able to book a 14-day cruise as 2 separate 7-day cruises. And I always tell people if they own the stock, don't do that, because you'll only get $100 for each 7-day cruise. If you book it as a 14, you'll get $250, so you get $50 extra. Same with the military onboard credit, which you can't combine anymore. But yeah, if you can do Carnival, Princess, and one more cruise line. I can't remember which one it is. Holland America, I think. And all you have to do is email them a copy of your brokerage statement that shows that you own 100 shares, and they'll apply it to your bookings. Jamie says, do you plan on eating on land there, local food experiences? That would be great content post. Yeah, I've eaten a lot of local stuff, and of course in this area a lot of it's fish, and I'm not a huge fish eater, so that's been interesting. But I've eaten some, I've definitely eaten some local stuff. Yeah, I always get a local meal on my day out. Sometimes it sometimes it ends up not being very local. Like some places just aren't famous for their food, and so you end up going to a Thai restaurant or something. Where are all the skyscrapers? I'm in Stockholm, Sweden. There are no skyscrapers. Stockholm is just a bunch of you can barely see it here, but it's just beautiful old buildings along the water. There's no skyscrapers in Stockholm, and this is my first time here. I was really surprised by how many old beautiful buildings there are. Just old beautiful building after old beautiful building after old beautiful building. I mean, it reminds me a lot of like building wise of like Budapest, Hungary, or Paris, but even more actually. and it's got like a canal system, not as in depth as Venice, but pretty cool. And yeah, it's just really pretty here. Really, this is one of those places I can, a lot of what I'm using this kind of travel for is to find places that I want to go live for a month or two in the future. And this is one of those places that I definitely would want to come back and live for like a month or two, and so I could explore it more. And Tallinn, Estonia, like the old town Tallinn in Estonia is like one of my favorite places in the world now. I would love to go back there and spend some time. It's like this one has a really cool old town with a bunch of cobblestone, and it's really neat. But the one in Tallinn is like really, really neat. Swedish meatballs in Stockholm. Yeah, I didn't have any Swedish meatballs today though. What did you do in Stockholm? I just walked around. That's normally what I do in these ports. I just get thousands of steps. I got like 28,000 steps today, which is like, I don't know, what is that? 12, 13 miles. I walked around a lot today. Isn't that the place the syndrome is named after? Yeah, Stockholm Syndrome, I'm assuming. If I missed your question, please ask it again. Where are all the skyscrapers? Yeah, no skyscrapers in Stockholm. Do the large versus medium-sized ships use this as door? And only one door, differences in the number of passengers. Seems it would be significantly affect disembark time. So usually on this Sky Princess, usually they have at least two brows. That's what we call it in Navy, brows. I don't know what they call it on a cruise ship, gangway or something like that. Someone said plank the other day. But where was I going with that? So this one has two. I've never had an issue disembarking. I'm sure if I tried to disembark right when the ship pulled in, like this morning we pulled in at, I want to say 8, maybe 7, but I didn't disembark until 9, and I just walked off the ship, no problem. I mean, I assume if I went down there like the second they opened it up, it might take a little bit of time. But with Princess, they use the medallions, so it's really easy. It's like super quick. I mean, technically, because I'm elite, I can go to the front of the line, but I've never exercised that privilege. Is Tallinn EU or Schengen? I'm not 100% sure on that. Today I actually looked at a list of Schengen countries because for some reason in my mind I didn't think Sweden was in the Schengen. For those that don't know, the Schengen is an area of Europe composed of a bunch of different countries, most of the ones you know. And for visa purposes, you can stay in the Schengen as a US citizen, and most other Western countries can stay in the Schengen area for 90 days on a tourist visa. That's why people talk about the Schengen so much. And if you know countries outside of the Schengen, for instance, like Bulgaria will let you stay 90 days. So if you bounce around Europe for 90 days, but you want to stay in Europe still, you can go to some countries that aren't in the Schengen, and it won't count against you. And so you can go to like Budapest, not Budapest. Hungary used to not be in the Schengen, but now I know they are. But I'm not sure if Estonia is in the Schengen yet. That's a good question. I would like for them not to be. I prefer countries are not in the Schengen because When you come in the Schengen, you're limited to 90 days. And I think it's 180 days and a 365-day period as well. And it's day for day, so it's really hard to keep track of that if you're like bouncing around Europe a lot. It's really hard to as a nomad to keep track of that. So I hope Estonia is not in the Schengen, but I'm not 100% sure. If somebody knows, type it in here. We saw the changing of the guard at the castle. Yeah, that was really cool. Remind me one day, I probably won't tell this story on YouTube, but if you ever meet me in real life, ask me to tell you the story about my encounter with the Swiss guard in my past life when I was younger. I had an interesting encounter with the Swiss guard, not in Switzerland. Somewhere else the Swiss guard is famous for hanging out at. What is the temperature right now? It's probably about 70 degrees Fahrenheit right now. I know we're going to get underway soon and it'll get windy. That's why I have my sweater on. Sorry if I'm sniffling a lot. I don't feel sick, but it was really cold this morning when I left and I was underdressed. All right. I'm trying to see if I missed any questions. Tallinn was amazing. Who knew? Yeah, Tallinn's probably one of my favorite spots. Also, back to that disembarkation question. So on Sky Princess, they'll have two brows coming out of the same hole. And so one is for people coming up, one is for people going down. But when people first disembark, there's two going down. And so really, even since they have two open, each of them with two brows, with two gangways, there's actually four. So there's 4 exit points on this ship. So, but again, I haven't run into any issues. The only problem I've seen with disembarking bigger ships is when they have tenders. Yeah, and that's the only place I have used my elite status. Because if you're elite, you get to go to the front. So I have been that jerk. Hey, you know what? I've taken a lot of cruises, so it's not my fault they give that perk. Hey, Elvie's in the house. What's going on, Elvie? Elvie's currently in Mexico, I think. All right. 28,000 sounds like my Disney trips. You need a hot tub visit after all that walking. Yeah, I mean, I do at least 10,000 every day. Usually I'm closer to between 15 and 18,000 because I do 10,000 steps every morning, the first thing I do before I do anything. And so I end up usually on a ship with between 15 and 20,000. 18,000 is usually my weekly average. And so when we get into ports, I tend to go well over 20,000. Hey, I've got 100 people in the live. Thank you for everyone who showed up. It's kind of impromptu live, sailing out of Stockholm today. We should already be underway, and we're not. Hopefully that happens soon. If you haven't smashed that thumbs up button, I would appreciate it. We are headed to Warnemünde, Germany, and then we're going to Aarhus, Denmark, Aarhus, and then Copenhagen, and then Kristiansand in Norway. I've been to Kristiansand a few times. We've already been to Gdynia, Poland, Visby, Sweden, Tallinn, Estonia, and Helsinki, Finland. So that was pretty cool. All right, let's see. Someone just, Swiss Guard in the Vatican City. Yeah. Yep. You mentioned the other day that you use Chase Sapphire as your credit card. Can you tell us why you like it? So if you Google the Chase Trifecta, that's kind of the system I use. I don't want to go too in depth in it because it would be a lot for a live stream. And the Chase Sapphire Reserve is the main part of the Chase Trifecta. Or if you don't want the card you have to pay for, you can get the Chase Preferred. That can be used as a substitute for the Chase Sapphire Reserve, but because I do so much travel, it's a great credit card for me. I put everything on it, all my cruises, all my Airbnbs. I don't carry any balance, so I don't have any debt, but I get a ton of points, and that's why I fly, business class, and I never pay for a flight. I've been traveling for 4 straight years. I've never paid for a flight, so it's pretty awesome. So. Let's see. I'm scrolling back up. Hey, Melanie's in the house. But yeah, so I really like Chase Sapphire Reserve, and it has priority pass, so free lounge access when I get into hotels. It has comes with global entry and TSA pre. It's a great card. If you travel a lot. If you don't travel a lot, it's probably not that great because it's a really high fee, annual fee. But if you travel a lot, it's well worth the fee. All right. Sorry, I'm scrolling here, and it's hard to scroll on this thing. Waving from South Carolina, says Sandra. Awesome. Thanks for giving us a look at different ports. Yeah, I like doing these sail out live streams when I have connection. Anne Marie says I do around 12,000 a day while working in a restaurant, but when not, about 8,000. I need to step up my game. Yeah, I read somewhere that people who get 10,000 steps a day live on average like 12 years longer or something like that. I don't know the validity behind that study or whatever, but that has always stuck with me. So I always start my day off with 10,000 steps. Diane said, did I like Helsinki? So I think Helsinki's been my least favorite place so far. It's very industrial, and it reminds me of being like in New York City or something. Not that I don't love New York City, because I do. It was an okay city. Stockholm's much more beautiful. Tallinn, the old town in Tallinn is gorgeous. Actually, the city in Poland was probably the worst one. And I don't mean like they're all great, but I mean as far as my favorites. I have a really good friend from Finland, and she said, do not judge Finland by Helsinki. And so I'm not going to judge Finland by Helsinki. Want more apartment tour videos? Well, I'm not living in any apartments, Huber man. But when I do start living in apartments again, I will give you an apartment tour. Are you talking about my cabin tour? I got a ton of cabin tours on my channel. How's the internet been on Sky? It's been pretty good. I mean, it's not as good as Island Princess because there's just more people on here, and it uses the same system. So it's been okay. I need to try a live stream underway to see if it'll work. I have a feeling it won't because it's only like 1 down or one up, 3 down, 1 up. So I don't think it'll work, but who knows. Rob says Warnemünde is so cool. Quaint seaside town with a fish market. Don't bother going to Berlin. Yeah, I won't go to Berlin. I've been to Berlin before, so I'd rather just walk around the town. So I'm excited about that. Thanks for that heads up, Rob and Jan. If you guys haven't checked out their channel, make sure you do that. Okay, if I missed your question, please ask it again. Chris says, thanks to your former videos, I booked a remote year 4-month trip. Can't wait. That is awesome. Those are for those of you who have been, haven't been following my channel that long. I've been traveling for almost 5 straight years. Every year I've traveled a different way. The first year of travel, I traveled with a program called Remote Year. And it's crazy when I see people that have watched those videos. So that's awesome. What countries are you doing on a remote year? I know they have a ton of different ones now. I saw they added India recently, which I thought was really cool. All right, let's see. Question, do you do anything, did you do
Stay
anything?
over that way so that you can have a straight shot.
Oh, no, it's okay. You guys aren't bothering me.
Really over here too.
You guys have you guys have like all of that. That's cool.
Tap dance.
Yeah. Well, you're on top of the bridge, so you want to annoy them, you can tap dance. Sorry, that was my neighbor. They have a huge balcony. Like, it's all like half the front of the ship, and it's really cool. They were just saying, hey, we'll try to stay out of your way so you have a good view. And I'm like, don't worry about that. I guess I could turn this camera around and have the front view. Yeah, we'll see. Let's see. Noreen says, did you do anything special to celebrate 100K? I think I did a live stream, didn't I? Pretty sure I did a live stream. I was on board ship and when it happened, so nothing really special. Say hi to your neighbors. Tell them they're on YouTube. Yeah, they actually, in Europe, when I was in the Caribbean, I met a lot of people on ships that had watched my YouTube videos. In Europe, it's been like hardly any, but they said they had watched some of my YouTube videos, which I thought was cool. Not a question, but a comment, and good to know. Carnival stock credit is only if you are not booking Carnival discount cruises like a casino discount. That's not true. I've booked casino deals and I get the onboard credit. So maybe they're making a mistake, but I'm on a casino cruise right now, and I used all my onboard credits before they stopped being able to combine the Carnival stock and the military credit. So right now I'm on a casino deal on this ship, and I'm getting my military onboard credit, my Carnival stock credit, my future cruise credit. So I'm not sure where you got that information, but that hasn't been the case for me. And maybe it is for other people, Joe, but not me. Please make a video on how to travel full-time while earning like myself. Yeah, I mean, that's not really what my channel is about, because I do make an income off YouTube, which is really cool, but I was always hesitant about telling people I'm retired because it just sounds weird, because I'm in my 40s, and so I never said that. Like when people say, well, what do you do? I'd say, oh, I'm a YouTuber. But now I've kind of embraced the idea of just saying I'm retired. It took me 2 years to make any money on YouTube, so I wouldn't call YouTube a plan to travel. I wouldn't call it like a travel plan or anything like that. But you can make income on YouTube. You just have to stick with it. There are tons of digital nomads out there traveling full-time and working full-time. They have digital type jobs. I've traveled with a bunch of them when I was on remote year, and there's a ton of content about that. But I haven't really wanted to talk about that because other than building my YouTube channel, I don't have a lot of first-hand knowledge, and I don't like to talk about stuff that I don't have first-hand knowledge about. All right. Let's see. Please make a video on, oh, I already read that one. Neighbors need to invite you over for cocktails. Yeah. I'm headed to Thailand in January and March, says James. How I wish Thailand would give you a 90-day on arrival. Yeah, that'd be nice. Wouldn't it be nice if Thailand gave a 90-day on arrival? I'm kind of spoiled with Thailand now that I have the Thai Elite. I don't even worry about visas anymore, but I used to sweat visas in Thailand all the time. It's what makes Thailand a little bit of a pain in the butt. But I'll be honest with you, if they didn't have that, so many more people would live in Thailand and the prices would go up. And so I guess you have to take the good with the bad. Chris says his remote year trip is South Africa. I did South Africa, Spain, and Croatia, which you're doing. I didn't do Albania. That's really cool. Yeah, I did Cape Town, South Africa, Valencia, Spain. I'm not sure where you're in Spain, and Split, Croatia. I love Split, Croatia. Cape Town, South Africa is amazing. Valencia, Spain's amazing. Jelly Coding says, I started looking at your channel from your Thai videos, and now you are in my country. That's cool. However, I live on the other side, Gothenburg. Very cool. Well, I'm loving your country. I talked about it today. If you guys don't follow me on Instagram, 30 to Wake Up on Instagram. I did a bunch of short videos from Sweden today, and from Stockholm today, and I was in, what was the other place I was in Sweden? I was just in another spot, Visby, Sweden, which is an island off the coast of the main part of Sweden, which was a really cool place too. Do you plan to move back to Thailand after your cruises? Ever consider visiting Vietnam? I have visited Vietnam, Dave. I lived in Vietnam. I have videos about it. I love Vietnam. I lived in Hanoi, Vietnam, but I'd love to live down in Saigon and or Ho Chi Minh City and Nha Trang. I'd love to live in Nha Trang. Do I plan on going back to Thailand? Absolutely. I have a 20-year visa, 20-year elite visa to Thailand. It's going to be one of my home bases. If I ever slow down my travel, it'll be one of my home bases where I probably travel Asia out of Thailand. Do you tend to book using future cruise credit on board or book on your own? So I usually do book on my own, but I booked the cruise I'm doing with my mother. I booked it on board and I got 50% off. Like, I will definitely start using that more in the future. I did not realize you get such a big discount when you book on board, and I don't know if it stays 50% off, but I was shocked. Joe says, is everyone aware of status match on MSC? Yeah, well, I don't know if everybody in this chat is, but for those who don't know, MSC matches all your cruise statuses and your airline statuses and your hotel statuses. I'm the highest level on MSC because I had the highest level with Hilton Honors, and so MSC matched my Hilton Honor status and gave me their black card. And as long as you sail once every 2 years, you keep that status, which is really cool. So good to point that out. All right, I'm scrolling up to see if I missed any questions. Got 111 people in here, so the chat's starting to move pretty fast. Joe says I was told to change it. That was a few weeks ago on Luminosa. Okay, maybe they did change it, and I haven't booked a cruise. But I just booked a cruise. I mean, I literally just booked a cruise, and they gave me my military onboard credit, which is usually the same as stock credit as far as how they apply it. And they did give me my. Oh no! Wait a second. That wasn't a casino deal. That was a 50% off deal. So if they're giving it on a 50% off deal, I don't know. I'll have to look that up. Maybe they did change that. Maybe that was one of the changes. Oh, a ton of seagulls. Let's see. Your neighbor behind you was waving. Yeah, they were waving at all the ships going by here. Yeah, I saw that. I saw the hand right there. Hopefully I'm not disturbing them too bad. I have a wireless mic on so I can talk pretty low and you guys can still hear me. So I'm trying to not be so disturbing. This is a princess ship, it's not a carnival ship. So if it was a carnival ship, there'd be a bunch of people on their balconies partying and drunk and jumping into the water and stuff. But it's a princess ship, so you gotta be a little bit more. Yeah, it's a more elevated experience. Thanks, Kevin. Salute for serving in the Navy. Thanks, man. I appreciate that. We are lazy YouTubers. We've been busy traveling. Yeah, I'm the same way. I'm a lazy YouTuber. I mean, I haven't uploaded a video in 2 months. I've got a ton of videos on my editing software that I've been editing a piece at a time. I haven't done a very good job of organizing my filming, so it makes the editing process hard. And so I haven't posted a video either. I'm a bad YouTuber. I feel bad about it, but it is what it is. I always told myself I'm not going to let my YouTube channel dictate my enjoyment of whether or not I enjoy travel or not. So sometimes I just ignore it. And when you're on a cruise ship that's pulling into a port every single day, a new place that you've never been in your life, I'm more interested in immersing myself in the travel moment than I am, making a video that's going to get a ton of views. So I know that's not good YouTube, and I'm fortunate enough that I don't need the YouTube income, so I'm not tied to that. And so yeah, but I do apologize to you guys. because I do feel bad about it for that reason. But I don't feel bad enough to not enjoy a port because I'm out there trying to film a YouTube video. Let's see. Do you tend to book, yeah, I already read this one. Do you tend to book using future credit on board or book on your own? I usually book on my own, but this cruise I got the 50% off my cruise, my upcoming transatlantic in November. And I booked mine and my mom's on board. And because my mom wasn't on board, I didn't get 50% off hers, which sucks, but I got 50% off mine. So that my transatlantic was like $500, which is crazy cheap. And that was everything: taxes, port fees, cruise fare, not gratuities, but gratuities on that one will be about 180 probably. So 500 plus 180, 680, under $700 for a 14-day transatlantic. It's pretty cool. Kaylee says, don't feel bad. Live your life, enjoy life. If it turns into a video, great. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. Plus, there's so many people that do better content than me anyway out there. There's plenty of great cruise channels. Emma Cruises, Fraser at Sea. He does a lot of videos. Oh God, you guys know them all. There's a ton of them, a ton of great ones out there. How's the weather? It's about 70 degrees right now. I've got my sweater on because I know that it's going to get windy as we move, although we should have already started moving. So we're late again. I wonder if there's pier runners. Let's see. I don't know. This is the second time I've done a live stream and we've been late. We should have pulled out like right after I started this live stream, which is what I was trying to time it for, so I would have good cell phone data connection, but also you'd get like, this is a beautiful sail away here in Sweden. It's a beautiful, beautiful sail away. Para DJ, yeah, I love Para DJ. If you guys don't know, I met them on one of the cruises I was on. They're great people. Please share your scariest and worst travel experience. So I haven't had any scary travel experiences. I've been asked that question before, and I've racked my brain trying to think of it. I'm gonna grab my water real quick. I've racked my brain trying to think of a scary travel moment. I don't think I've ever had one. I mean, when I was in Chile, Santiago, Chile, a friend of mine got mugged outside of our apartment, but it didn't involve me. That was scary that he got mugged. It was one of those situations where it was 3 o'clock in the morning. He was coming home from a nightclub drunk. It was that kind of situation. So, it's not something that would normally happen if you were just, hanging out in the day. I always say nothing good happens after midnight. And so I've never had a scary moment. I've never had a worse moment either. I can't think of anything. I mean, I did I was stationed in Iraq in the military. Maybe that's a scary, worst travel moment. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't had, I was walking through Stockholm today, admiring the architecture, how gorgeous it was, and just how beautiful the city was. And it's all along these canals and everything. It's just everywhere you look is beautiful views. And this couple that was walking behind me, I'm assuming they were off the cruise ship because they said, what did they say? They said something to the effect of, they said, this place is pretty dull. Nothing here excites me. I would never want to come back. And I was thinking in my mind, are we standing in the same cobblestone street with all this 18th century architecture around us? Are we in the same spot? How do you not love this? So for me, it doesn't take a lot to make me happy when I travel. So as far as worst travel moments, I can't think of any travel moments that were super bad. I mean, when you have to do a 20-hour flight somewhere, that always sucks. But yeah, I can't think of any worst travel moments. see. Would I travel to India? Absolutely, I'd travel to India. How long is this cruise going to be? The one I'm on right now is a 14-day cruise, but I'm on the ship for 42 days total. I've already done one 7-day cruise. We've done the first 7 days of a 14-day, and then I have another 7-day cruise, then another 14-day cruise on this ship, and then I go to another ship and I do like a 12-day cruise. So cruising is never ending to me. So when someone says how many days do you have left on this cruise, half the time I don't even know. That's why I brought this list of where we're up and pulling into, because I didn't even know where we were pulling into. Not tomorrow because we're at sea tomorrow, but the day after tomorrow. I didn't even know where we were pulling into Germany. I didn't know Germany was on this itinerary, to be completely honest with you, until I looked at this and Googled, because all they have is the name of the city, until I Googled the name of the city and then realized it's a German city. So, so I hardly ever know where we're at. Question, do people use dating apps on cruise ships? Seems like the solo meetups are hit or miss. How else would you meet other single people? So I always have my dating app on, and it's funny, like I kept getting notifications during this live stream of Bumble connections, but they're never from people on the cruise ship, because I don't know the way the algorithm works for Bumble, but it's always just local people. And I actually really like having my dating apps on in foreign countries, because I like to see how I would do. I guess maybe it's vanity or something like that, but I find it interesting that, because my stuff's in English. It says where I'm from, and I think my profile says I travel full time. So it's always interesting to me that somebody, and I'm only in these places for 7 hours, so I would have to connect with them on a dating app right when I pulled in, which would be like 7 or 8 in the morning. Not a lot of people probably cruising dating apps, and then go on a date with them like that day. So, hey, James Britt's in the house, speaking of Thailand. Hey, Jen and Tommy in the house. But yeah, there's not a yeah, the solo meetups are hit or miss, especially when you're on a cruise ship that's pulling in port to port to port to port to port every day. People are less likely to show up, because I think the solo meetup on this cruise ship today is 6:30, and we're supposed to leave at 5, although it's like 5:30 now and we haven't left. So a lot of people are exhausted from walking around town all day. Jen and Tommy say, love the Instagram updates. Yeah, if you're not following me on Instagram and you have Instagram, 30 to wake up on Instagram, you'll get a lot more updates on there. I post every port, 3 or 4 stories, and they're shorter, so you won't get too bored. What do you do to not get tired of the food on cruise ships? I mean, to be honest with you, the buffets on these bigger cruise ships are so diverse that you can every single day eat something different. And then if you go to the main dining room or the specialty restaurants, like this ship has Alfredo's Pizza, which is a specialty restaurant, but it doesn't cost any money. So you can go there and have pizza, but they also have calzones. But normally what I do is I don't normally eat breakfast. I just drink coffee, and then I'll go out in town and I'll eat lunch in town. So I'm really only eating dinner on board. And so honestly, it hasn't gotten old for me. And no matter what, they always have a salad bar that I can fall back on, and a taco. On this ship, they always have a taco bar, so I can go and do soft tacos, burritos. I can make my own burritos. So, and I never get tired of burritos. Hey, if I missed your question, please ask it again. There's a lot of people in the chat now, and the chat's moving pretty quick. If you don't mind smashing that thumbs up so we can get more people in the chat, I'd appreciate it. Ann Foster says, when booking flights, do you use Chase Travel or directly through the airline? So I collect a bunch of points through Chase, right? But when I book a flight through Chase, even though it doesn't cost me anything because I'm spending points, I still get points on the airline. So anytime I go and look for a flight, I'll find the flight that I want. And then the first thing I'll do is I'll go to whatever airline mile program I have and see if I have enough miles in that airline mile program, and like Star Alliance or something like that. And if I do, I'll just book it with those points and save my Chase Sapphire Reserve points because I get a bigger trade-in with those. And so I'll just book it with the airline miles. And if not, then I'll use my Chase Sapphire Reserve points. Like right now, I'm trying to find a flight for me and my mother, and I'll just probably use my Chase Sapphire Reserve points. Although business class tickets to Europe right now are ridiculously expensive. The one I would normally take to Venice out of St. Louis, which is where my mother lives, is usually only like $1,600 for business class. It's $5,000 for business class now per ticket, which is insane. Like, geez, man. My mother might be the only person flying business class. I might be in coach. What place did you get the most dating app action? I got a ton in Finland. And my Finnish friend Kaisa said, well, you look exotic. So I don't really see it, but I guess I'm bald with gray hair. I don't know how exotic that is. But I got a ton of, and it's funny because Finland's not a very big country population-wise. But yeah. That's Kim Ann, by the way. If you guys haven't followed her YouTube channel and you love van life, you love RV life, she has an amazing channel. She's probably the most open and honest YouTuber I've ever seen before, and her content is really good. So if you're not following Kim Ann, I know my audience, a lot of you are van life people, you will love her channel. So check out Kim Ann's channel if you haven't checked it out yet. And I mean, her first video, I think, got like 50,000 views, or maybe even more than that, I don't know, right now. And to get 50,000 views, I think it took me a year and like 80 videos or something. And her very first video, she got like 50,000 views. So, on board, where do I eat the most meals? The buffet. I don't like putting on pants. Like right now, I got shorts on. I don't like putting on pants. And to go to the buffet, you got to put on pants. Unless you're on Norwegian, then you can not wear pants. Solo cruising and more. Speaking of cruising channels, make sure you check out her channel. It's great. I just caught the live. What ship are you on? I'm on Sky Princess. Any excursions planned? I don't do excursions very often. The only one I'll usually do if I'm really far away from the city center is, okay, good, we're getting underway right now. The only one I'll usually do is the hop-on, hop-off bus if we're far away from city center. And by far, I mean like over 2 miles. But if we're within 2 miles of the city center, I'll just walk it and do my own thing. Hey, Kaylee just put in Kim Ann's channel. Thank you, Kaylee. Yeah, my van life audience, she's not in a van, she's in a truck trailer. Not the ones that go in the bed of the truck. What are they called? I can't remember the name of them. But her channel's really, really good. Do you still have a home base? So I own a house, but I rent it out, and I use my mother's address for mail. Hey, Kevin Jackson, what's going on, man? Nana on the run. What's going on, Nana? Did you walk around Gamblistan? I'm not sure what that is. Maybe I did, and I just don't know the name. One country has had the best food, like on my European portion of the cruise. I'd probably say Copenhagen, just because it's so international. I think maybe. Yeah, probably Copenhagen. Which Asian countries haven't visited? Are you considering visiting? And I've visited a lot of Asian countries. I did a lot of cruises in the Navy to that area. I'm trying to think of countries I haven't visited in Asia. China. I would love to visit China. I haven't visited China yet. I went to law school with a bunch of Chinese nationals, so I'd love to visit them. They all live in Shanghai. I'd love to visit Shanghai. Myanmar, Burma, I'd love to visit. because I saw an episode with No Reservations, and yeah, I'd love to visit Burma. Man, trying to think. Asia. I've been to so many places in Asia. I mean, I want to go to Tibet. That's on my list. I had I was supposed to go to Tibet. I had it all booked, but COVID put an end to it. Trying to think. Man, I can't. It's a hard question because I've been to so many countries, and there's a ton that I'd love to go back. Gamlistan means old town. So are you talking about old town in Estonia? In Tallinn, Estonia? I did go to the old town. If you're talking about old town in Stockholm, I did go to the old town in Stockholm as well. I always go. If there's an old town, that is always the first place I will go. I promise you that. Yeah, I definitely want to the old city section. You'll see, if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see some videos from there. I thought that was the prettiest part. All the narrow cobblestone alleyways, there's no cars, so yeah. Pants not necessary on Carnival either, yay! I love pantsless places. If you have a question and I haven't answered it yet, please ask it again, and make sure you put question in front of it first in all caps or a bunch of question marks, and I'll know it's a question. Laughed at your comment since someone posted on Island Princess Facebook page, posted how disappointed they were on the cruise and the ports, and Allison and Gordon on the same cruise and loving it. Yeah, I just love travel, so I'm rarely going to be disappointed. Even in a port that maybe somewhere I wouldn't go back to in the future, I can always find something, right? And plus, a lot of times you just go to the wrong places, and then yeah. Have you been to old Quebec? I have not. I would love to go there though. I haven't been to that much I've been to a lot on the western side of Canada because I lived in Seattle, but I haven't been to a lot on the eastern side of Canada. As a matter of fact, I've only been to Halifax, and that was on a cruise recently, so I need to do more stuff on that side of Canada. And I would love to go to Quebec City. Searching for my next Princess cruise. It seems like everything is so expensive right now. Is it just because of summer? So Mike, so are you going on a cruise? Because if you are, wait till you get on a cruise to book, because it seems like I got 50% off the cruise I booked recently. So that's an idea. Go to Cruise Plum, sort by Princess Cruises, and just search on Cruise Plum for cost per day, and maybe you'll find some deals on that way. That's how you find the specific deals without having to thumb through the entire Princess website, which isn't very user-friendly. Can you guys hear that? All aboard, we're expecting you. They play for those that don't know, they use the horn. The horn on the Sky Princess plays the princess theme. I'm curious how many people outside of the United States know that theme. Hey, a bunch of emojis are being sported. I need to make a new emoji. All right, if you have a comment or a question, please ask it again. I'm gonna go inside real quick and grab myself a mango Pepsi Max. So you guys watch Emma Cruises. She's famous for loving Pepsi Max. And I do really like Pepsi Max more than Coke Zero. But what I really love are these Pepsi Mango Maxes, and you can get them all over Scandinavia. For some reason, they're really into the Mango Pepsi Max over here. I have water too, for those who are worried about my diet soda consumption. All right. Are you still going to Alaska? I'm on the Bliss, so I'll be on Grand. That one's up in the air now because my mother has surgery coming up and she might need me to help her out. It's not a risky surgery or anything like that, but she might need some help, so I might have to cancel that cruise. And then I'll take care of her for a month, and then me and her are actually going to go to Venice and then hop on a cruise ship, transatlantic cruise. So I'll get right back to cruising if that does happen. But I'm not 100% sure yet, Diana. The show was on Swedish television back in the day. Very cool. Sorry you missed the USCGS Eagle in Stockholm. You would have loved it. What is that? Is that like United States Coast Guard Eagle? Coast Guard ship? There was a Coast Guard ship here? Smash the thumbs up. Yeah, for the seagulls. There's literally thousands of seagulls out here right now. Maybe not literally thousands, but literally hundreds. Like hundreds of seagulls. So many seagulls. The ship, stirs up the bottom of the canal here, and I think it just pushes up a bunch of stuff for them to eat. So they go on a feeding frenzy, basically. So here, I'm waving at a small boat down here. There's like a yacht down there. There's a party boat right there. Some kind of party boat. How much stock do you have to own to get the stock discount? So you need 100 shares. The shares used to be really cheap. They used to be like $6, $7 a share, and now they went up substantially compared to that. So you used to be able to get it only spending $600 or $700. Now I think I haven't looked lately, but I think it's $16 a share or something like that. These guys are on jet skis. I don't know if you can see them right there. That's crazy. It's crazy how in Scandinavia and like in Finland, when it's 70 degrees, everybody's swimming in the water. Like 70 degrees is not a point in the U.S. when you would start to swim in water, but they do here. The U.S. Coast Guard Eagle, known as America's tall ship, is the Majestic Eagle. Sergeant Sir. Oh, cool. Very cool. Yeah, I would love to have seen that. So it's kind of like the Constitution, I guess. Like the Navy has the Constitution. So I'm assuming it's similar to the Navy's Constitution. Although it obviously can still make a long trip, where the Constitution probably couldn't. Not a trip across the Atlantic. Man, all these seagulls are landing on their balcony. They have this huge balcony, and seagulls are like flying rats, in my opinion. That's one of the reasons I'm out of my balcony, is so I don't come out here tomorrow and there's seagull poop everywhere. The seagulls will not fly up here if I'm standing out here, so I'm trying to avoid a bunch of seagull poop on my balcony. It's about to get really pretty out here. I might move this so you get a better view, because the sun is right there, so it might be too bright. Although we are turning up here, so maybe once we turn, it'll be less bright. Carlos says, just came. What ship are you on? I'm on the Sky Princess. I'll give you an update. So I'm on Sky Princess. We're pulling out of Stockholm, Sweden right now. We're headed to Germany next, a port in Germany, and then 2 ports in Denmark, and then a port in Norway. And then we'll head back to England, and I'll hop on another 7 and 14-day cruise back to back. So that'll be cool. Yeah. Hey, CJ in Paradise. We were just talking about Thailand. If you guys haven't checked out CJ in Paradise and love my Thailand content, make sure you check them out. Jody McCain's in the house. Have you been to Visby? Yeah, we went to Visby already. I really liked it. We were in Stockholm today. I really love Stockholm. It's beautiful. But Visby was awesome. I love it. You know, it's an island, so it's got a different feel than mainland Sweden. You know, a different vibe, and I just really liked it. I thought you had to stop in Poland. Yeah, we did stop in Poland. You're right. Here comes the love boat thing again. Can you guys hear that? Tell me if you can hear the horn playing the love boat. Okay, cool. I wasn't sure because I have this wireless mic on. I wasn't sure if you guys could hear it, but we're getting ready to pass a windmill up here. Let me see if I can adjust the camera here and maybe not be so washed out. So there's a big old mansion or something. And we're getting ready to see this old windmill over here. Looks very Dutch. Where is it? Let's see. Right. I don't know if you guys can see it. Oh, there it is. Coming into picture. Coming into frame. Right there. I guess you guys can't see it very well. Noreen says, yes, that's cool, but I bet it annoys the locals. Yeah, I'm sure it does. You know, I've been on the Princess ships for so long, it kind of annoys me now a little bit. I just want to hear the dun, dun, dun. I just want to hear the blast. So, there's a sailboat right here. That's like, right there. Everyone's looking up here. I'm waving. Let me see if I can get somebody to wave. Yay, people are waving. I must be the only one out on the balcony. Yeah. Probably get a lot of boating traffic now as we start moving. Hopefully this looks as beautiful to you as it looks to me. It's really pretty here. Here, let me get out of the frame and maybe you'll get a better view. Carlos says, love your princess loyalty. We love Princess as well. Yeah, I mean, it really doesn't have a lot to do with me being loyal to Princess. I just got a ton of good deals from Princess, even before the whole casino deal thing. There's just always really good solo deals. And so it just ended up that way. And I like them. I really like them. Have you been watching the sail into port each morning? So I usually just have my balcony door open when I go to sleep anyway. So I kind of wake up and see as we're sailing in, but sometimes we sail in really early, so not always. What's the current temperature? It's about 70 degrees out right now. I remember passing the Confederation Bridge between PEI and mainland Canada. People were waving back. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I met Andrea Gold on Sky Princess back in January. It's gorgeous. My cruise wish list is getting long. Yeah, I mean, mine's still growing. As you start talking about people, or talking with people on cruise ships, and they tell you about the cruises they've been on that you haven't been on, you know, your list grows. Like I definitely want to do Easter Island. I definitely want to do the Galapagos, Antarctica, all of South America. I want to do some more of Europe. I want to do a ton of Asia. Like so much left to do. What's the most exotic thing you've eaten? So I ate some kind of like in in Norway, I believe. I ate some kind of like fermented fish. It was disgusting. I can't remember the name of it, but it was disgusting. I just didn't grow up with fish. I grew up in the Midwest. The only kind of fish we ate was catfish that was layered in breading and had a ton of tartar sauce on it. So it's always been tough for me to eat fish. I started getting used to it when I lived in Hawaii. Like I love like mahi mahi and fish like that, but I love ceviche too. Someone said ceviche. No, it wasn't ceviche. I had a lot of ceviche. It was some kind of like canned, fermented. It was disgusting. Fermented shark in Iceland. Yeah, I've heard that's a thing. I didn't do that though. The old mansion is Drottningholm Palace, I believe. Oh, very cool. Do I miss the United States? I love not being in the United States, to be honest with you. I know that sounds terrible, but yeah, I love traveling and seeing different places, and I get kind of bored when I'm in the U.S., to be honest with you. And I know there's a ton of things to see, but yeah, I don't really. And I'm not being un-American. I'm just not. I mean, I'm sure at some point I'll, you know, be nostalgic, but there's still so much more to see. So, yeah. Did you try the brown cheese in Norway? No, but I'm going back to Norway, so I'll try that, Rob, and I'll put it on Instagram. Have you been to the Faroe Islands? No. What is that? Where's that at? Where's the Faroe Islands, Jelly? All right, if I missed your question, please ask it again. Put the question marks in front of it or the word question so I know it's a question. We've got 143 people in here, so the chat's moving kind of quick. Traveling is life. Yeah, I love it. There's so much I haven't seen. One country that you haven't visited but want to visit so badly. One country that I haven't visited. I mean, it's not a country, but Antarctica. Also the Galapagos. And yeah, I would say those two. But they're not countries, I guess. I mean, I think Galapagos is part of Chile, I think. But I've been to Chile, obviously, but yeah. Wow, it's so pretty. And there's so many like amazing like castle type houses here. Like here's another one along the banks. We're not there yet. We'll be there in a second, I think. I can see it. It's right after this little beach right here. This beach area. This big house. Big ancient house. Old house. The Faroe Islands is a self-governing archipelago, part of the Kingdom of Denmark. No, I haven't done that or seen that. I'd love to, though. Do you spend US dollars or convert to local currency? So I just use, everywhere has tap with the credit, you know, with your phone or your watch. So I just use credit card, do tap. I don't have any international fees on my credit card, so I just do that. And I always pay in US dollar. If it asks me if I want to pay in local currency or US dollar, it's always better to go with your native currency. But yeah, so I always do that. Yeah, that's the building right there. It's really cool. And it's just mansion after mansion, like old historic mansion after mansion. This must have been a very posh place to live back in the day. Galapagos is part of Ecuador. Okay, I've never been to Ecuador, so there we go. Would you van around Europe? Absolutely, I'd van around Europe. You can avoid answering, but what's your marital status? I'm single. Yeah. I've been single most of my life. I was married for 2 years, but I was deployed with the military almost the entire 2 years. So, I mean, I guess technically I'm divorced, but I've been divorced for 20 years. And so I hate saying I don't think I should have to have that as my classification, divorced. I've been single 99% of my life, so single. I like to say bachelor. I'm a bachelor. I'm unapologetically unattached. How's that? Where are you now? I am in, we were pulling out of Stockholm, Sweden, headed to Germany, and I'm on Sky Princess. Hey, Maxine, what's going on? Yeah, isn't that a beautiful background? I like doing these sail away live streams because get some really pretty backgrounds. I heard it's better to go with local currency. No, anytime you get the option, always go with your native. It's kind of a scam to do the local currency because they still put it in your native currency and then they convert it over and you get the conversion fees. So it's always better to go with your local currency because that's what your credit card is charging in. What the establishment is doing is they're charging in US dollar and converting it to theirs. So it just makes the establishment more money. And so if you want to have them make more money, but you're gonna get a crappy conversion rate. Unattached, I like that. Yeah, unapologetically unattached. I'm going to use that. Divorced for 24 years, so yeah. I'm a bachelor. Yeah, I hate saying divorced. Like I was only married 2 years. I was gone all of it almost, and I've been single 90% of my life. So I don't know which way we're turning because I'll adjust my camera. The sun is right there, so it's going to be really washed out. So I'll see which way we're going here in a second and see if I need to adjust what I'm doing. One thing you'd like to request your subscribers other than liking and subscribing, I would say get an Instagram account if you don't have one and follow me on Instagram. I post a lot more on there lately, and you'll get daily. You'll know what I'm up to because I almost post something every single day. Even when we're at sea, I'll usually post 1 or 2 things on Instagram, and I might start doing more short YouTube shorts. I did one the other day about the towel monkey, towel animal in my cabin, and people seem to like that. I think unapologetically unattached. Yeah, I listened to this podcast called Solo, and it's a single person's guide to a remarkable life is what the podcast is called, and it is for people that are single by choice. Like they don't need. They don't need someone to make their life complete or whatever. And I get it's great people that have that. It's awesome, and I think that's amazing. But it's a pretty cool podcast, and he always uses that term, unapologetically unattached, and I've always liked it. I've always liked that. Fermented herring, very popular in Scandinavia. Yeah, it was fermented herring. It was awful. All right, I'm thinking about moving my camera because if not, it's going to be washed out. I've got this thing all set up kind of crazy here, so it'll be kind of a pain in the butt, but let me see if I can figure it out here. So you get better views and not, whoop, you're going to get a view up my nose. All right, so you get a better view and not so washed out. Whoa. I almost fell. Not over, but you can see that's my neighbor's balcony. It goes way out. Are we turning again? If we're turning again, it's going to wash out the other way. I don't know. There's a ton of people over there. I don't know if you can see them. They're like waving at us. Here, hold on. Let me see what I'm going to do here. Sorry. It's not good YouTube. It's not engaging. If you have a question, I'm not going to scroll through again because it's me moving around and stuff. It's going to be really kind of messed up. So if you have a question, retype it and I will try to answer it when I get all set up here. Yeah, this will work. This will work. This will be better. All right. All right. All right, I think, yeah, there we go. There we go, that looks better. What do you think? Better? That looks better. It looks like a clearer picture. Okay. I'm sitting down in a chair moving my drinks over. Sorry, this is not very engaging YouTube. Okay. Look, I lost like 20 viewers. All right. If you have a question, ask it again and I'll answer it. Yeah, this is definitely a very pretty sail away out here. Is that a beach over there? Yeah, there. I mean, it's Norway, so I don't know. It's not like a Hawaiian beach, but yeah, there's a beach over there. Let's see. What have you enjoyed about your balcony you didn't think you would? I wouldn't say there's anything I have enjoyed that I didn't think I would, but it has been nice to have fresh air, be able to open up the door at night and just have fresh air coming through, although it's a lot of times it's very cold in the part of the world we're in. So, and I'm sure if I was in the Caribbean or something, it'd be too humid to do that. But yeah. How many push-ups can you do? So I hurt my shoulder a while back, but up until about a year ago, I did 100 push-ups every single morning. That's how I started off my day. I did it in the military, and when I retired, it was just part of my routine. But I haven't done them in a while because I have a messed up shoulder. Are you getting tired of cruise food yet? Nah, not at all. There's so much variety on a cruise ship, and we're pulling into a new port every day, so I don't usually eat breakfast. I have some kind of foo-foo coffee in the morning, and then we'll go out in a port. I'll eat lunch out in the port, and then I'll have dinner on the ship. So I'm really only eating one meal on the ship, and there's so much variety on a cruise ship as far as food goes. So, and they, like I said earlier, they always have a taco bar, so no matter what, I can make myself a burrito, which I could eat burritos every single day, no matter where I'm at. And yeah, so yeah, it hasn't gotten old for me. Kaylee can do 60 sit-ups. Awesome. Any languages you know except English? So I used to be pretty conversational in Italian because I lived there for 2 years, but not so much anymore. That was a long time ago. I lived there from 98 to 2000. Do you think you will meet Emma or Fraser in Southampton? I don't know if they're ever there when I'm there, but usually we're not on the same schedule. So I don't know. I know they've been running into a lot of other people, but maybe one day I'll end up on a cruise ship with them. Or, yeah, I'll always check and see if they're in Southampton. Usually they're not, though. They don't actually live in Southampton. So if they're in Southampton, they're usually getting on a cruise ship. So unless our cruise ships are there in the same day, yeah. Do I know any French? Je m'appelle Kevin. You guys are funny. Okay, if you got a question, I haven't answered it, throw it out there. When did you realize traveling was for you? So I spent 20 years in the military and I was single most of that, like I mentioned earlier. And so I always moved every couple of years. And I didn't realize how much I enjoyed getting to travel so much until it wasn't part of my job anymore. And I started, I was a corporate lawyer in New York, and I realized that I want to travel. I want travel to be part of my life. I didn't realize how much I'd grown accustomed to it being such a huge part of my life. And so I left my job and now I travel full time. So I don't know when, so I can't really answer that question. I don't know when I would have, I must have developed a love for travel while traveling while I was in the military, but I didn't realize how much I missed it until I didn't have it anymore. If that makes sense. Maxine says, I only took 3 years of French class, so I know very little. Yeah, I know a couple phrases. Your one dream which is yet to be fulfilled. My one dream. I don't know. That's a very complex question. I mean, again, I'd love to go to the Galapagos Islands. So, yeah. Here comes the love boat. Here comes the love boat thing again. And it's, oh, every time a cruise ship passes, they do it. They have a little war. It's Viking. That's a pretty ship. Glory. Viking Glory. That's cool. Typically, how far in advance do you book? So anywhere from, for me, I was planning out a year, so I just, whatever day my cruise ship was pulling in, I try to find a cruise leaving on the same day or the next day. And so that's kind of how I planned. So it's varied. I think normally I'd probably book maybe under a month out, probably. Once when cruising is just a part of my travel and not the only thing I'm doing, I think I'll just be like, oh, I feel like going on a cruise. Let me see what's leaving in the next week or two. Or maybe even in the next couple days, because you can book a cruise up until 24 hours before the cruise. So, yeah, man, that sun is beating down on me. How many hours a week did you work as a lawyer? Did you have any sort of life? How many hours a week did I work? I like most lawyers in New York City don't come into the office until like 10, but I was in the military and we come in at like 4 or 5 in the morning. So 5 in the morning. So I'd go to work about between 5 and 6 in the morning, but you're expected to stay late. So I usually worked from 5, 6 in the morning until I lived only a couple blocks from my firm. So I just walked in. Sorry. Yeah, I only lived a couple of blocks from my firm, so I wouldn't leave usually until between 8 and 10 at night. So I was working a lot, and usually worked at least one weekend day, sometimes two, depending on our caseload. Would you dare to travel to Pakistan? Yeah, I have a good friend that lives in Pakistan, so I'd definitely go to Pakistan. Have you ever been on a Viking cruise ship? No, but I want to. I want to try one of those Viking river cruises. Question, relatively new to the channel. What is your story as why you were doing what you were doing? Asked Joe. So I spent 20 years in the Navy, U.S. Navy. I retired. I went to law school. I became a corporate lawyer. I was coming home every night watching YouTube videos on travel. In 2019, I decided to quit my job as a lawyer, travel, make YouTube videos. That's my story. And I'm sticking to it. Kevin R says, Master Chief is living a dream. After I left the Navy, my first job overseas was in Stockholm. Very cool. It'd be like, if I ever went back and got a normal job again, I think I'd be like a foreign services officer or something like that. Petite Sherry says, questions. Are you able to book the entire year of cruising in one fell swoop, or do you do it in segments? So you can book it in one fell swoop. I have a whole video on like how to find cheap cruises, but in there it tells like how to book cruises when you're trying to book a full year and you don't want to book like only on one cruise ship like some world cruise, but you want to do a world cruise. In that video, I show you how to do that. It's basically with a website called Cruise Plum, which is like a search engine. It's a great tool to use for cruise planning. It's the best tool out there, by far. There's no one even close. There's no tool even close. Do you live out of a suitcase in, or do you have a house somewhere? So I have a house, but I rent it out. One of my first videos on this channel was about minimalism. I sold everything I owned, so I don't have a lot. Everything I have fits in a little box, and it's at my mother's house, so I use her address, and I rent my house out. Hey, Neil and Joe in Baltimore. Some more of my cruise buddies. We were on a Royal Caribbean ship together. What were we on? Enchantment of the Seas? Yeah, Enchantment of the Seas out of Baltimore. Neil, and like, I don't eat at the main dining room very often. You guys know this because I don't like wearing pants. But Neil invited me to his table on Enchantment of the Seas, and it was an eclectic group of people, amazing group of people. And I ate in the main dining room every single night with him and his group of merry people, and it was a lot of fun. And so I was more than happy to put on pants to go and hang out with that group. But normally, and also Andrea Gold is on here. Andrea invited me to the main dining room. I put on pants to go to main dining room with Andrea as well. So sometimes I will when I have people to hang out with. Yeah, I don't like wearing pants. Are you still buying crypto? Yeah, I don't like to talk about investing on this channel. But yeah, most of my 90% of my investment portfolio is dividend growth stocks, but I do own some crypto, yes, and I love it. I know some people hate it, but I like messing around with crypto. In the U.S., you can book less than 24 hours, or at least I have. I have to go through special screening. Okay, I didn't know that. Most of the time when I've looked at things to book with in a 24-hour window, it's usually closed. I actually tried to stay on a cruise ship one time, and even the cruise ship that I would have booked another cruise on couldn't book me. So maybe it varies from cruise ship to cruise ship. Any one country that you tend to avoid? Nah, not really. Nothing I can think of. Are you DCAing crypto or did you sell? I'm always DCAing. I never sell anything I own. Every investment I've ever made since 1994, for the most part, I haven't sold. Maybe one or two things, but I'm a buy and hold kind of person. What do your siblings and family members think of you fulfilling your dream? They think I'm nuts. Like people, like I'm from Missouri, and a lot of people from the Midwest rarely travel out of the Midwest, and they don't understand why someone would want to. And you know, like I went on a trip around the world with Remote Year. I lived in a different country every 30 days, so 12 countries in 12 months. And when I came home, I had dinner with my family, and they maybe asked me one question about my travels, and then it was talking about like what's going on with cousin whatever, marriage or something. You know what I mean? It was right back into that stuff. So to be honest with you, they're not really that interested, which is fine. It's okay, because they have their own lives. You know, children, families. You know, they have their own lives to live, and so it's okay that they're not interested. I'm just a wacky black sheep of the family that. That's never grown up, is basically what they think. Did you need a special visa to travel all the time? So most places, if you're from a Western country, will give you visa on arrival. Always check, but I've never had to get a visa other than one place, Vietnam. It's the only place I had to go and get a visa for. You're the eccentric uncle, yeah. You were born under a wandering star, says Rich. Yeah, I mean, I left for the military in 1994 as a teenager, and I got stationed in Hawaii right away, which is part of the United States, but is as different culturally as you can possibly be. It's almost like living in a foreign country. So, yeah. Midwest girl, why is that? I have a friend whose husband has lived in the same house his entire life and hates travel. I don't get it. Yeah, I mean, it's just, you know, it seems weird to me too, but it just is what it is, you know. Have you spent much time in Singapore? It looks cool. Yeah, I spent a lot of time in Singapore actually, going there in the military, and then I've been there a few times in Thailand. Singapore is one of my favorite places in the world, to be honest with you. It's just a really cool place to it's really safe, and it's very Western. So if you're overseas and you need a break, and you want a little bit of Western lifestyle, it's pretty Western. What's your favorite place you have visited? It's always a tough question to answer because it just depends on my mood. Sometimes I'm in the mood for beaches, sometimes I'm in the mood for mountains, sometimes I'm in the mood for hot weather, sometimes I'm in the mood for cold weather. So sometimes I'm in the mood for city, sometimes I'm in the mood for country, you know, so it's I don't really have a favorite place. But when someone says if you can only go to one place, where would you go? I tell them Peru, because Peru has something for everybody. You can live in a very metropolitan city like Lima, or live in a 2,000-year-old city like Cusco. You can hike one of the 7 wonders of the world like Machu Picchu, or you can hike a natural wonder of the world like Rainbow Mountain. They have amazing food. You can go surfing one day, skiing the next day, and sandboarding in a desert the next day. It has so many different climates in Peru that if I was going to answer that question, I would say Peru. But I wouldn't consider Peru my favorite place in the world. But it's a place that has something for everybody, which is why I would recommend it. Have you been to Copenhagen on a cruise? Yeah, I've actually been to Copenhagen twice already, and I'm going again in a couple days. So I've actually spent a lot of time in Copenhagen. It's a very popular place for a cruise ship to pull in. Will you buy a Travato again in the States? If I buy another RV, it probably will not be a Travato. It'll be something smaller. I'm thinking about having Johnny's Journey build me out a Honda Element or something like that. Singapore Airport looks amazing. Yeah, I always tell people to stay in the hotel in Singapore Airport at least one night so you can explore the Singapore Airport. It's so cool. Such a cool place. Have you spent much time in... Oh, I already answered that one. Hey, if I missed your question, please ask it again and put question on the front of it, like the word question, before you type your question so I know it's a question. Do you use a travel agent? No, I don't. I do everything myself. Part of the planning process, I really enjoy that part of it, like finding deals. So I do it all myself, all the cruise planning myself. You should do the Camino de Santiago. I definitely want to do that. I have a bunch of friends that have done it, so it's definitely on my list. The sun's turning again. If I was on the other side of the cruise ship, this would be much better. Let's see, I'm trying to figure out how I could set this up, and nah, it's not going to work. But hopefully, let's see where we are. I think we're turning soon again because there's land right in front of us, so we've got to be turning. So hopefully we turn out of the sun. How long you reckon it would take to watch all your videos? Not that long. I don't have a whole lot of videos. I mean, some people have, hundreds and hundreds of videos. I don't even think I have 200 videos yet. Road trips are different on different continents next year. That'd be cool. Have you been on Margaritaville yet? No, but I want to go on Margaritaville. I'm a huge Jimmy Buffett fan, for those who don't know. Huge Jimmy Buffett fan. I've been to, I think 8 or 9 Jimmy Buffett concerts. Sorry, I'm trying to scroll through the questions here. That's why I'm all up in your grill. How much is your net worth? It's enough to survive the rest of my life. I'll just put it like that. I don't like talking about that kind of stuff because I don't have any kids, so it's all going to go to my nieces and nephews, and I'm afraid they'll kill me if they realize how much money they're going to get when I die. But if I live, it'll be a lot more when I die, if I live. So be in their best interest not to kill me. I'm in Texas now. I shouldn't be here in the summer. Bad mistake, yeah. Oh, the sun is just beating down right now. I'm waving at the sailboat. We have got to be turning soon. Yeah, we have to be turning soon because it looks like we're going to run into some land if we don't turn soon. So hopefully the sun won't be so bad in a few minutes. Hey, Charlie Grace is in the house. You guys check out her YouTube channel. She's hilarious. Elvis says, from which country you are building an audience from lately? So my biggest audience is US, obviously. My second biggest audience is UK. My third biggest audience is Hungary, because I have a video with almost 1 million views about Hungary, and only people from Hungary watch it. So I have a huge Hungarian audience, believe it or not. They're never in my live streams though. They just watch that one video. What's my favorite cruise line so far? All of them have something to offer. I love Princess, obviously, but I really liked NCL. I love their buffet. They had probably the best buffet, and you can go to the main dining room and dance. They have a dance floor and live music in one of their main dining rooms, which I really like that concept. So I really like NCL and Princess. your past high school and college tales that you still remember. I mean, that was a long time ago. And I went to college in the military, basically piecemeal. And then after I retired, I went to Georgetown Law, and I was in my late 30s when I went to law school. So when you're that old going to school, you don't have a whole lot of fun stories other than studying. Hey Doha is goodbye in Swedish. Very cool. Thank you for stopping by, Renee. Yeah, that sailboat was really close. Okay, good. We're out of the sun. We're out of the sun. Yay, we're out of the sun. Hopefully we stay. I don't know how much we're turning. Let's see. I'll wait to adjust the camera to a better angle where you guys get better view. But I'm glad the sun's not in my face anymore. Whew. Okay. All right, if you have a question, re-ask it. I'm obviously way behind here. Is it hot and humid where you're at now? No. It's like 70 degrees, but the sun was beating down on my face, so that was part of it. I'll probably start getting cold now. Do you find the ice cream in the buffet? Did you find the ice cream in the buffet? No, I haven't. I haven't looked for it, though. I'm trying to avoid that kind of stuff. One country you wish to be born there. Oh, I'm glad I was born in the United States. So, Charlie says your audio is awesome. Yeah, I just have a Rode Wireless Go, and it's on a wire. I just have a clip-on Rode mic, and that's all it is. I tell people all the time when they ask me what my #1 piece of advice for YouTube is, and I'm like, buy the Rode Wireless Go, and you'll always have good audio. And if you wear the wireless mic underneath your shirt like this, you won't get wind noise. This mic does have a wind guard on it. It actually broke on me, so I have it like rubber band on there. But it works great. What time is it there? It's probably like 6 o'clock, 6 p.m. Can you grab a hat real quick? Well, it's too late now. I'm out of the sun. So you should have told me that earlier, Maxine. I do have sunscreen on, but it's been on all day, so it's probably not that great. Ellen says, greetings from Ann Arbor. I'm loving your most recent sharings. Well, thank you, Ellen. I appreciate that. Thank you. I love Ann Arbor. It's a beautiful spot. If you guys don't mind smashing that thumbs up, I'd really appreciate it. If you're just joining the live stream, we are headed out of Stockholm, Sweden. And yeah, have you ever gambled and won on a cruise ship? So I've gambled and lost, but I kind of won because, so just in case you haven't heard this story, Charlie. So I was on a cruise ship and I filmed myself gambling because people kept asking to show them casino. So I put 50 bucks into a slot machine and I did max bid and I lost it in like 20 seconds. But I got some YouTube video. At the end of the cruise, I got a $150 casino credit slipped underneath my door. So the next cruise I had $150. I went to the casino, I won like over $1,000. And I had talked to my friends from the YouTube channel Para DJ, and they said that Princess gives the best cruise deals, so if I didn't need the money, just dump it back in the casino. So that's what I did, I dumped it back in the casino. And then I started getting emails from Princess Players Club offering me free inside cabins. And so I booked 13 cruises with no cruise fare, $0 cruise fare. All I had to pay was port fees, taxes, and gratuities. And so I've been the cruise I'm on right now, and all of them came with casino credit, like $200 to $300 worth of casino credit. So yeah, I'm not really a casino guy either, but so I did lose, but I won all these free cruises basically. So First country you visited after the Navy? First country I visited, Iceland. Me and my friend in law school, Riley, also a military veteran, we, on a whim, booked a flight on WOW Air, if you've ever heard of WOW Air, that went to Iceland first, and then we went to Paris. And so we went to Iceland for a day, and then we flew to Paris and stayed in Paris for 2 or 3 days. There's videos on my YouTube channel, one called Midnight in Paris, I think, another called like the smallest hotel room in Paris. They're really old videos. It's when I first started, although I had an amazing like $10,000 camera, so the video quality is really good, but the vlogging's not very good. But yeah, that was my first trip out of the military. I went to Iceland and Paris. So you would no longer RV? Did you give it up? No, I plan on RVing in the future. Even when I was RVing, I told people like I travel different ways. Every year I travel a different way, and I will RV again. My friend Johnny from Johnny's Journey has said she'll build me out a Honda Element, a little mini RV. So I'll probably do that at some point. But I don't let my YouTube channel was by far the most successful when I was RVing, but I don't let YouTube dictate my YouTube popularity, dictate my travel. I travel however I want to travel, and I make videos about it, and if people like it, great. If they don't, that's okay too. But yeah, I do plan on RVing, but when I want to RV. So I don't mean to be crude or mean or anything, but I do plan on RVing in the future. I love doing it, but I did it for a year, and right now I want to travel a different way. So there you go. Sounds like a fun caravan in the future. Yeah, it would be fun. I'm assuming you don't have cell reception. Yeah, this is cell reception. So I'm on my cell phone data right now. So I have T-Mobile, and they have what's called an international pass that you can buy. You can pay $5 for the day, or you can pay $50 for the month. And so I just pay $50, and it gives me 5G in all the countries that I go to. And so I'm able to do live streams like this. I'm moving my chair this way so I can, you should get clearer video if I do this. There we go. Yeah, you should get better video. Now, give you more of the scenery and less of the bridge wing. Which cruise line have you not been as of yet? A lot of them. I mean, I haven't been on Holland America. I haven't been on, Oceania. It's better to tell you what I have been on. NCL, Princess, MSC, and Royal Caribbean. So, have I ever been to Mumbai, India? No, I have not. I would love to go there, though. Kevin's Paris video is a piece of art. Well, thank you, Elvie. But yeah, Lynn, I do have cell phone. I have T-Mobile, and I pay for the international pass when I'm traveling. My bucket lists are Iceland and Paris. Yeah, I mean, Paris or Iceland has a lot of really inexpensive flights on Icelandic Air. So you should just go to like Skyscanner or Google Flights and search, and you'll find probably a lot more affordable than you think flights to Iceland. They used to have WOW Air, which was super affordable but really crappy. But Icelandic Air is really good too. Have you seen any whales from your ship? Yeah, I had a video on Instagram. Actually, I think on one of my recent videos, a shot of a whale from my room. There was a whale just outside my window. But yeah, I saw one. I think it was a baleen whale, I think. Are you streaming with the phone? Yeah, I'm streaming with my phone. Is winter the best time to do Iceland? I would say probably not. Yeah, probably not. Would you try Virgin Voyages? Absolutely, 100% I would try Virgin Voyages. I'm actually really excited to try them. What camera are you using for this video? I'm using my iPhone 12 Pro. And I'm using the front-facing camera, so it's not the good one. It's the crappy one. It's the crappy camera. I'm not using the reverse because I need to be able to see the chat. So, have you done a video on what it's costing you to cruise for an extended period of time? Yeah, Joe, if you go back and look, I've got a couple of videos on cost of cruising for a solo, full-time. Would you ever consider the Life at Sea 3-year cruise? No, I wouldn't want to be on the same cruise ship. I mean, you can do Life at Sea probably even more, a lot more affordable, just booking it yourself. Use Cruise Plum, which is the search engine. They don't sell you anything, but you can line up your cruises by dates. Use Cruise Plum to plan it. And, like, I wouldn't want to be on the same cruise ship. I'd get super bored. I'm on this cruise ship for 42 days, and that's probably too much. Anything over a month, and I start getting bored with the cruise ship. Cruising for me is not only about the beautiful places, but also about the cruise ships. So I like having a variety of cruise ships. So I wouldn't want to be on the same cruise ship for 3 years. The cheap airlines in Iceland is now Play. Okay. I love Icelandic Air though. If you've never flown them, they're great. That's when I'm flying back from Southampton to the United States. I'm flying Icelandic Air, and I think I got a business class ticket for like under $1,000. Are you an introvert or extrovert? I'm definitely introvert. I'm extreme introvert actually. I'm on the extreme side of introvert version. I'm very, very much an introvert. Although in Finland, I would say I'm probably an extrovert because almost all people in Finland are introverts. Do you get any more towel animals? No, but my same towel animal is still in here. I never took it down. If you have any questions, please ask. Again, put the word question in the front or question mark so I know it's a question. By the way, Mari T is in here. How you doing, Mari? Mari T has been a subscriber to this channel for a long time. Long time. Hey, Elvy's splashing some emojis. Introverts are more interesting. Yeah, and we don't need... it's good for solo travel to be an introvert, in my opinion. Lucky Dog Productions in the house. What's going on, guys? One of my long-term moderators and another good travel YouTube channel. Did you name your towel monkey friend? Yeah, I call him Monkey, Kim. Hey, we've got a couple RV YouTubers in here. We've got Charlie Grace and we've got Kim Ann. So check out their YouTube channels. They're really good. Can you describe what it was like planning to quit your job to travel full time? Any tips on how to retire early? So I was doing like the fire retirement thing before it had a name. I grew up lower income, and so when I joined the military, I just started saving. And this was in 1994 when I joined. And the first thing I did was I got an E-Trade account and I started investing during the beginning of the dot-com era. And I just never sold any of those stocks. And some of them went out of business, but some of them became very lucrative stocks like Amazon and Google, although Google was later when I bought Google. And I've owned Home Depot forever. I own a lot of dividend-paying stocks. I always tell people, just go out and research dividend income investing, and buy dividend stocks, and you'll eventually. I thought I saw an animal. I thought I might have saw something in the water, but maybe not. Would be cool to get a whale right here, wouldn't it? I don't know if they have whales in this part of the world. I don't know, but it would be cool to get a whale shot, wouldn't it? A little pilot whale right here. But yeah, so I was investing. So even when I was a lawyer, I didn't really need the job. Plus, I had my military retirement. I retired from the military, so I had that source of income. I've been investing all my life. I own a, I used to own a lot of rental properties that were all paid off, and so I had that income. Now I just have one house, and yeah. So I always tell people just buy assets that pay you money, and eventually you'll build up enough income-paying assets to be able to do whatever you want when you want to do it. So. Do they have singles meet events on the cruise? Yeah, there's a singles meetup every single night. Solo meetup, not singles. Because some solos aren't single, you know, they're just traveling alone. But there are solo meetups every single night on every cruise I've ever been on. There's one actually going on right now. But they're not very good when the days you pull out of port, because usually people are just too tired and they don't show up to them. So I'm not worried about missing it. The question, departing from a port in Germany? No, we're in Sweden. We just left Stockholm. We're headed to Germany, actually. Question, can you describe, oh, there you go. If you're going on something like a 14-day cruise, do cruise port parking lots allow you parking over 7 days? I've never had to deal with that never-ending highways, so I'm not 100% sure, but I think so. I'd imagine they have long-term parking for however long your cruise is going to be, because that's like money they can make, right? So I don't know why they would limit it to 7 days. Is there a decent gym on the cruise? Yeah, this ship, Sky Princess, has an amazing gym. It's just like any gym you would have in like a high-end apartment building. Tons of treadmills overlooking the ocean. There's tons of free weights on here, tons of machines. There's like aerobics rooms where you can do like yoga, and they have classes, and they have classes every single day. Every morning they have, what is it, Roomba? No, Roomba's Roomba's the vacuum cleaner. What is the workout? Roomba? And anyway, they have that every single morning on here. So yeah, this ship has a track on top, a running track, and most newer ships have that kind of stuff. But every cruise ship, even old ones, have gyms. Just part of cruising now. A breaching well would be cool right now, yeah, wouldn't it? Look at that. They got that little lighthouse there, because you can see it's very shallow there. How do you deal with taxes? Do you have a separate tax advisor you work with every day? Yeah, I have an accountant that I work with. Yeah, so when I'm out of the country for more than a certain amount of time a year, like 11 months a year, you know, I qualify for the federal tax exemption. So, and it's just better to have someone to do that for you, because it's kind of a pain in the butt to figure out if you qualify. Are you happy because this working until you were able to retire to 75? I just can't do it. Am I happy? Yeah, I'm super happy. I always tell people like money doesn't really mean anything to me, other than the freedom it provides. Like I'm a minimalist. I don't own a lot of stuff. I don't have a car. I don't have a lot of the traditional. I have a house, but I rent it out. I don't have, and it's a very modest house. I don't have a lot of the traditional things that you would define as success, because they just don't mean, you know, big TV doesn't mean anything to me. So yeah, the reason my view of money is it just provides freedom. So I just tell people, like, cut out all of the non-essential stuff, that the keeping up with the Joneses stuff, and just stockpile your money into income producing assets like dividend stocks, real estate, whatever it is you enjoy doing. Like, learn about that stuff and figure out what you enjoy doing, and then just build up those assets, and eventually they'll be able to fund your lifestyle. There's all kinds of stuff on the FIRE movement and all that kind of stuff out there. So yeah, and dividend growth investing and stuff like that. Zumba, that's what it's called. Oh, that's so funny. That's so funny. Look how pretty the background is. Let me get my ugly head out of there so maybe it's more clear. That is freaking beautiful. Imagine living there. How cool is that? How cool are those houses? Huh, that's so cool. Okay. What does FIRE stand for? Financial independence, retire early. Since you travel minimally, what is the one thing that you splurge on? Merino wool clothes. I love merino wool for travel. Clothes is something I don't mind spending more money on for quality because I need my stuff to last. Like this merino wool sweater I'm wearing, I've had for 3 years. It's expensive, but it's lasted 3 years. So I'm gonna grab myself another mango soda here. So yeah, that's what I would say. Clothes is the thing that I splurge on. But you know, I don't own a lot of clothes, so it's not really splurging, and they last a long time. But I don't mind spending extra money on quality clothing, since that's like what I own. And like when I go to live in different countries and stuff, I don't mind splurging on, you know, I mean, you can still get inexpensive places in places like Thailand, but I don't mind spending, you know, a little bit more for a place with an amazing view. So yeah, let's see. Wish I was as smart as you in my younger life. You know what? I wasn't smart. I was just kind of lucky, to be honest with you. I had no idea what I was doing. Are you still considering a condo in Florida? Yeah, like hopefully my mother lives like another 20, 30, 40 years. But if God forbid she ever passes away, then I would definitely sell my house in Missouri. The house I own is in the same lake community she lives in, so if I ever need to live near her, I can do it pretty easily. But I would sell that and buy something either in like Galveston, Texas, or like somewhere near a cruise port in Florida, and maybe use that as my home base. Because at some point I'll need to have my own home base. I won't be able to use my mother's address. You know, I mean, like I said, I hope she lives like a long time. But someone says I use Rakuten a lot. Yeah, I love Rakuten. I always tell people use my link, and they give you $30 or whatever it is. And yeah, Rakuten's great. Someone just posted about SCHD. Yeah, I love SCHD. Probably the biggest thing I own is SCHD. I started moving stuff over in SCHD. That's, for those who don't know, SCHD is a dividend growth investing fund out there, and it simplified my life, to be honest with you. What kind of law did you practice? Is there a particular the profession tried to work outside of your freedom? So I practiced, I was a corporate litigator. So I was originally a juvenile defense attorney, and then I went over to corporate law and was a corporate litigator. So I wasn't a corporate lawyer like doing mergers and acquisitions or deals or anything like that. I was the one that went to the courtroom and defended the corporation, mostly pharmaceuticals, to be honest with you. Which is probably another reason I'm not doing that. Are you wearing shorts again? Yeah, I'm wearing, here. I'm wearing my blue shorts. T97 said my first comment ever on a live stream, anyone's live stream. Well, thank you. I feel honored that you would do that. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up button, I'd appreciate it. What are you drinking? I'm drinking Mango Pepsi Max. It's really, really popular in Scandinavia. Everywhere you go, they sell Mango Pepsi Max. I don't know why it's so popular over here. Because there's not a lot of mango trees over here, but people seem to love mango. So glad to have caught your stream. I usually end up seeing after the fact. Well, thanks. I appreciate that. Diana said I got my $30 using your link. Yeah, that means you got me $30, so thanks, Diana. Andrea says, I want to crash your condo in Florida. Yeah, Andrea, if I get a condo in Florida, you're more than welcome to crash there, pre-cruise, so you don't have to pay for a hotel. If I buy one. I've been looking at, I found a couple that I really like, and they're in between Miami and Fort Lauderdale cruise port, like right in between, so it would be really like easy, but I don't know when that's going to happen. Bellex said they got the $30. Yeah, I mean, it's cool to get the $30. And I got that from Andrea Gold, by the way. So at some point I need to, I haven't made a ton of money off Rakuten, but I have gotten a few. And at some point I'm going to treat Andrea Gold to something because she gave me her Rakuten link and told me about Rakuten. The reason I use Rakuten, and I have it on this channel, is because they give you 1.5% off, 1.5% cash back off Princess cruises, and like 2% off Celebrity cruises, and I think 4% off Celestial. It changes all the time. At one point it was like 4% off Celebrity cruises, which was a really good deal. But that's why we talk about Rakuten on here. But you can use it for anything. You can buy Unbound Moreno, but don't do that. Use my link, you'll get a better deal. You can buy anything with Rakuten and get cash back, like Nike shoes, anything. So it's really cool. I tell people to do it. Why not? It's a free $30 no matter what. Add MSC on Oh, they added MSC on Rakuten. Very cool. I'll have to look that up. Did you incorporate your YouTube business and keep it separate from personal? If this is too, yeah, that's too personal. I do have some LLCs. I'll just put it that way. I'll just leave it at that. I'm a lawyer, for God's sake, you know. Do you like partying? No, I'm not a partier at all. I'm the exact opposite of a partier. I'm the exact opposite of a partier. I'm pretty boring, as a matter of fact. All right, if I missed your question, please ask it again. Is your fridge stocked by the cruise line? So I am elite on Princess, so I get a free minibar setup, and I don't really drink alcohol, so I just have them bring me a bunch of Cokes and waters instead. So I get 20 Cokes and waters instead of, usually you'll get a couple beers, a bunch of those little mini, like vodkas and Crown Royal and all that stuff, whiskeys and stuff. But I don't really drink that much, so I just tell them to replace it. Americans say soda and Canadians say pop. Yeah, some people in the United States say pop as well. It depends on what part of the United States. Like where I'm from in St. Louis, we just call every soda Coke, even if it's not Coke. And then other parts of the United States say pop, some parts say soda. So, can you get mineral water in your mini fridge? Yeah. They have mineral water as well. You can get 20 mineral waters if you want for your. You can replace it. But I bought a bunch of the mango Pepsi Maxes here in Scandinavia. Yeah, you can get Perrier. And as we say pop in Ohio, yeah, a lot of people in the North Midwest say pop. Do I miss my hairs on my head? Yeah, of course I do. It's about to get sunny again. Let me see which way we're going here. Whew, man, that sun is bright. I'm trying to see how I can do this without being blinded by the sun. I have to move myself a little bit this way. Okay. Kind of. Any foreign women approached you for a relationship? Not necessarily for a relationship. I mean, you're only in these ports for 8 hours, you know, so it's not like you can do a lot. If you're talking about like in the past, when I lived in different countries, yeah, of course. The sun's gonna kick my ass. All right, let me see. Maybe we'll keep turning. But it sucks for you guys because it washes out the pretty background when the sun is like beating directly into the camera. Soda sounds like you're getting baking supplies, yeah. That's funny. You remind me of David Goggins. I actually know David Goggins. I was in the Navy for 20 years. I was a Master Chief in the Navy. He was a chief in the Navy, and I've met him a few times. He's a great guy in person, just as much as he is on YouTube and all that stuff, and Joe Rogan and everything. He's an intense guy. Did they search what you bring onto the ship, e.g., mango, Pepsi? Are you restricted? So I've always heard they restrict stuff, but I bring stuff on board every time. Local stuff, including, full 6 packs of soda, and no one's ever confiscated it or said anything about it. I've heard they lock up alcohol, but I mean, I don't know how they know that. I don't know when they're scanning the stuff. It could be a 6-pack of beer, and they never check and see if it's soda. So I don't know. Oh man, that sun is like really bad now. Ooh. I want you guys to have a view. Let me see what we're doing here. All right, we're turning again. Ooh, all right, we're doing a huge turn here, and I don't know where it's going to push the sun to. So I'm trying to figure that out. Sorry, I know this is not very riveting YouTube here. So I apologize for that. For those that don't know, we're pulling out of Stockholm, Sweden. Actually, we've been underway for probably 45 minutes now, and it's been beautiful. Right now the sun's kind of beating down on us, so, whew, man, I can't see anything. It's so bright. Yeah, we're pulling out of Stockholm, Sweden. We're heading towards Germany. I'll give you a rundown real quick of where we've been. So we were in Gdynia, Poland, Visby, Sweden, Tallinn, Estonia, which was amazing. I love Tallinn. Helsinki, Finland, and then today Stockholm. We're headed to Warnemünde, Germany, then to Aarhus, Denmark, then Copenhagen, Denmark, and then Kristiansand, Norway. And then we'll head back to England on a next 7-day cruise, followed by another 15-day cruise on this ship. As soon as we get past this sun, I'll be able to... I'm trying to figure out which way we're going so I know where to move the camera, so we're not so washed out. But I can't see any questions right now. I can't see anything because the sun is like directly there. So sorry about that, guys. It sucks too because there's beautiful scenery here, but it's just getting washed out by the sun. I'm trying to figure... I think we're going to turn towards the sun, so actually it's going to be good in a minute. We're going to have good... it'll be a good view in a minute. Especially if they put the sun directly on the side of us. Here, let's go this way. Here we go, that should be better. I mean, the sun's still in my face, but at least you guys get a decent view. Unless we turn again. Actually, you kind of get a view from a little bit of a view when I'm inside. Dang it. I can't figure out which way we're going to go. So I don't know where to set up the camera. I probably should have waited. Riveting YouTube, isn't it? All right, I'm going to ask you, if you asked a question, to re-ask. How long can you live alone? My whole life, I can live alone. I am very much an introvert. I don't mind being alone. It doesn't bother me at all. I know it bothers some people, but it doesn't bother me. So, and I'm not antisocial at all. I'm social, but being alone doesn't bother me. I'm just not wired in a way that it bothers me. Just to clarify, so you have to scan anything you bring on from the port stops. As far as they know, fresh foods are not prohibited. I don't think they're prohibited. I brought on like bananas and stuff before. They run it through a scanner like you would at the airport, but I've never had them confiscate anything or asked to look at anything. So, but I think different cruise lines are different too. So, do you have any merino wool sunglasses? I have sunglasses, but not merino wool. I'm trying to figure out what we're doing. If we're turning again. The sun is in the worst possible spot it can be in right now. There's no way to... Hold on, let me make one more move here. I feel like we're gonna turn again. That's why I'm afraid to like do a bunch of adjusting. Ugh. Here's the room, by the way. There's my desk. Here is the bed, the big giant bathroom, because this is a handicap accessible room. Look at that big shower. Look at that thing. It's huge. And this is the room. It's kind of messy right now. Not super messy, but yeah. All right. So you can see the sun coming in here in the room. That's how bright it is. It's super bright. So I'm trying to get to a spot where it's, this sucks. Let's see. Does that work? No, that doesn't work. Yeah, the only way it works is if I'm like in my room like this. So I'll hang out in my room for a minute until maybe the sun gets a little bit better, so I can answer questions. I feel like this is great YouTube right now. All right, so we'll sit in the room for a second until the sun, until we change course and the sun's in a better spot. Kevin, do you need a towel? No, I have plenty of towels. When we were in Stockholm last year, it was very different weather for us because it was December. Yeah, I wouldn't mind going in the winter, to be honest with you. What's the artwork? So it's a bunch of penguins. So looks like a bunch of emperor penguins in the artwork. Here, I'll turn my camera around. You can see it, and you'll be able to see the towel animal too from my video. So that's the towel animal right there, monkey. But yeah, it's just some penguins. All right. If I missed your question, ask it again. Sorry. The sun is in the worst possible spot it can be in at the moment. Here's a question, maybe too personal. I like when people preface the question by that. Do you have sunblock on your head? Yeah, I have sunblock on my head. For those who have been following me for a while, you know I've had skin cancer before, so I'm very cognizant of that. You're going north, yeah. Yeah, we are going north. Does the military automatically enroll you in the retirement plan, or do you have to sign up for it? I did 3 years and can't remember if I was enrolled, and have no clue how to look for it. I mean, the system has changed now, but I joined in what's called I3, and if you do 20 years, you get 50% of your basic pay. I know now they have some kind of blended retirement system, but I don't know anything about it because it came out after I had already retired. So I don't really have a great answer for you. Are you going to listen to some music or karaoke tonight? Yeah, probably. I always go listen to live music. They have a bar on here called Take Five that always has some kind of great live music. Andrew said just had Mohs surgery. Yeah, I had basal cell skin cancer on my forehead. Did you find the hook on the towel yet? Did I find the hook? So the ones on here don't have them. The ones I've gotten on Sky Princess so far don't have the hooks on them. I have seen them on other ships though. Do you get a choice of dining by yourself or the ship sitting you with strangers? Yeah, you get a choice. You just tell them when you walk there. There we go. Okay, if I missed your question, ask it again. Sorry. Hopefully we move in a minute. And how's the library on the ship? It's nice. I mean, it's not the best library. The newer ships have. The older the ship, usually the better the library, because that used to be part of like the cruise ship experience. And now, libraries aren't big money makers, so they're shrinking them and there's less stuff in them. But if you go on older ships, they usually have a pretty great library. Island Princess had a super huge library. Yeah, the newer, bigger ships, they usually don't, because they want to put like something that'll make them money there, and libraries don't make any money. So, have you made your own coffee in your room? No. Princess has the medallion technology where you just order something on the app and they bring it to wherever you're sitting with your medallion. So I just order it that way, and they can make the coffee way better than I can, and I get foo-foo coffee. Like on Princess ships, I like to get the butter pecan latte or the white chocolate mocha, and I wouldn't be able to do that in the room. But I do have a water maker, and I just I make a lot of tea there. Let me see. Sun's still. Yeah, it's still not in a good spot, so we'll give it a couple minutes. Sorry if I'm boring you guys. I can't believe I have 122 people in here still. That's crazy. The striped ones have a hook. Okay, good to know. Have you ever done a dance class on a ship? Yeah, I have done dance classes on a ship before. Bachata, salsa. Yeah, I've done a few dance classes on ships. Sea days are a good opportunity to catch up on some reading. Yeah, I always do that. Like I just read, the J.R.R. Martin book, like The Knight and the Squire or something like that. It was really good, actually. Have you been to a show on board? Yeah. It's kind of getting repetitive, the shows, because I've been on so many cruise ships, but I will catch a show every now and then. But normally I go to live music. That's what I prefer. The view with the curtain is still awesome, yeah. So I'm all the way up forward, so actually, it's still bright, but I think you guys will be able to not have to deal with the brightness. So we'll see if we can, I don't know if you can see that. Can you see that? Look at how cool that is. I love being on a ship. Some people don't like it, but I freaking love it. With each new build, Princess libraries get smaller and non-existent. As I recall, there's no dedicated space. Yeah, I don't think Sky Princess has one. I don't remember seeing one. If you guys have a question, please type it in there, ask it again. It looks like the sun is actually still kind of bright, but it's going down, so it's getting better. And so actually we might start getting that golden hour view. I don't know, can you see all the swans down there? It's a bunch of swans right there. That's cool. Question: Do you rate your dancing unapologetic beginner or product? I'm actually a really good dancer, but I'm not a good salsa or bachata dancer. I actually have really good rhythm. I was a musician, and so I actually have pretty good rhythm. So I'm actually a pretty good dancer. Not to brag, but I'm a decent dancer. Yeah, the scenery is amazing. I mean, we're probably we're probably 10 miles away from Stockholm now. So it's just so cool, all this stuff along the waterway. Like this must have been like a super populated area back in the day. Like, I'm waving. I'm the first person on the outside of the ship, so when I wave, I start the waves, which is kind of cool. Yeah, I don't know if all these people are here to see the cruise ship, but it's cool. It's really, really cool. It's really pretty here. Andrea wants to see Kevin shake his hiney. You mentioned another video not having as much time for editing with the frequent stops on last cruises. Yeah, definitely. Have you considered hiring somebody? I used to have an editor, but the type of videos I do are really hard to edit if you didn't film it. So I tried an editor a while back, and it just didn't work out because I would have to do so much explaining and so much reviewing of edits for re-edits because they didn't film it and they didn't know what's supposed to go where. They don't know the context of it, that it just didn't work. Those the YouTube channels that are good for editors are people that are sitting down at a desk talking about a subject. That's easy for someone to edit that didn't film. But when you're out doing travel vlogging and you're talking about different things that you need to lay B-roll over, you have to do so much explaining to an editor that didn't film it that it takes more time than just editing it yourself. So as much as I would love to just be able to hand something over to an editor, it just didn't work for me. And I was at a very good company, a very good editing company, but the quality just was not very good, and it was just more work for me than actually editing myself. So it's hard to scale up a YouTube travel channel because it's almost impossible to hire an editor that unless they're traveling with you and understand. So Deborah says, I made it, 7:30 a.m. in Hawaii. So cool that you live in Hawaii now. I remember Deborah's been on this channel for a long time, and that was like one of her dreams was to move to Hawaii, and she made it happen, and now she's living in Hawaii. That's so awesome. I managed to book 2 back-to-back Alaska cruises, October 2024, for a total of $2,200 for both, 16 days total. But I'm starting to think I want a balcony for Alaska. Well, you could probably bid on an upgrade. Thank you for doing these, living vicariously at the moment. No problem, Stephanie. How you doing? What instruments do you play? I play guitar. I posted on here before like a link to my channel. The videos are like 10 plus years old of me playing guitar and singing, as a matter of fact. I've posted them on here before. But yeah, I play guitar. Question, do you rate your dance? Oh, I already read that one. Check out Nikos River Cruises for the best values for solo cruises. I'll check them out. Thanks for the recommendation. Any luggage restrictions on cruises? I don't think so. I travel carry-on only, so it's not something I've ever had to worry about. I carry my bag on and carry it off. I never, do the thing where the cruise ship brings it to you. So I'll be honest with you, I don't know. I don't have an answer for that, but someone else in here probably can answer that question. Are you able to rent Musical equipment on a cruise ship. No. I wish. That'd be cool if I could rent a guitar. Have you played in the casino there to keep the comped cruises coming? I really haven't, except for my free play, to be honest with you. I probably should. I don't really get casino offers anymore, but I don't really like gambling, so it's hard. Yeah. Deborah says it's extremely expensive to live there. Yeah, it is expensive to live in Hawaii. So they have talent shows on cruise ships. You could borrow someone's guitar. Yeah, but you know what? I'm so out of practice that I wouldn't want to do a talent show. They did have karaoke on NCL, which was cool. I did a little karaoke. You can rent drums. Neighbors will love you. Yeah, I don't play drums. My father played drums though, but I don't. That is such an awesome background for a video. Trying to give you as much of Sweden as I can in the picture. Without it being washed out. Do you have a drone? I used to travel with a drone, but it's a huge pain in the butt, to be honest with you. And to be honest with you, drone footage doesn't really make videos better. And they're more of a pain in the ass than anything else. It sounds cool, it sounds like a cool thing to do, but honestly, it's really a pain in the butt. How does casino stuff work? You just go and start playing, and they start mailing you. Yeah, I mean, I got offers via email. Every cruise line's different. What triggers that? What triggers the offers? Some cruise lines are very transparent, like Royal Caribbean. Other cruise lines, like Princess and Carnival, they're not very transparent on what triggers you to do it. But if you like gambling, you know, it's a lot of people. There's a guy who has a YouTube channel called Cruising with Mark, and he talks a lot about that. And so he'd be a better resource than me. Para DJ has talked about it before on their cruise channel. That's how I learned about it. I learned about it from them. But yeah, Cruising with Mark has a bunch of gambling stuff on cruise ships and how to get free cruises. His whole channel's revolved around that. So he'd be much better. You could always use drone stock footage. Yeah, you got to pay for that stuff though. Like, I don't think that stuff makes videos better. I just shoot my own B-roll. Right? So, when will you arrive in Germany? We have one sea day, so tomorrow's a sea day, and then the next day we'll be there. Oahu's super expensive. Would you stay longer if you could afford it? So I lived in Oahu for 9 years. I know you're asking Deborah that question, but I lived there 9 years. So it's like a home away from home for me. I love it there. So hey, I'm only 5 thumbs up away from 200. So if you don't mind smashing it, I'd appreciate it. Some countries have restrictions for drones. Yeah, and it was a huge pain in the butt traveling with that stupid drone. And I only travel carry-on only, so it takes up too much space. And yeah. If you could live in Europe, which country would you choose? Ooh, that's a tough one. I really like Budapest, Hungary. I really love Tallinn, Estonia. I would love to spend some time there. I've only been there, you know, for a few hours on a cruise ship. And I really like Stockholm. I'd love to stay in Stockholm. I have lived in Paris for a month before. I love Paris. I'd love to live in like Dublin and London. There's so many places. I could go on and on and on. Have you visited all of the Hawaiian Islands? I have most of them except for that like private one. My favorite one is probably Oahu just because I lived on it for so long and I got a lot of fond memories. But if you said outside of Oahu, the place that I spent the most time in, I would probably say I really like Molokai because it has a lot of mountain bike trails and stuff like that. It's nice. But all of them have something, you have the Garden Isle, you have like the Big Island, which is like the Texas of Hawaii, and they all have something different to offer. Yeah, there's all kinds of things with drones. It's too much of a pain in the butt, and it doesn't really add that much to videos. It used to be a really big thing for YouTube travel vloggers, but they've all kind of gone away from it because it's kind of a pain in the butt, and it kind of became a little bit cliche. So, are you enjoying the variety in the ports of call that you get in Europe compared to Caribbean? Yeah, I love the Caribbean, but I'm really enjoying the variety you get when you're in Europe. So Hawaii versus the Virgin Islands. I would say I would say culturally they're very different. Hawaii has more Asian roots. There's a lot of different communities represented there, like Filipino, Samoan, obviously Native Hawaiian, Japanese, and so it's diverse in that way. And the Caribbean's diverse in other ways. I think they're similar climates but different as far as experience wise. Whatever happened to Bumblebee in Thailand? I sold Bumblebee in Thailand, and I sent LV my gloves, my Bumblebee gloves. But yeah, I sold Bumblebee. Have you seen Rise of the Beast yet? Newest Transformers movie? I haven't, but I need to watch it. Yeah, I sold Bumblebee when I was in Chiang Mai. So I drove Bumblebee from Jomtien all the way up to Chiang Mai, and stayed in Chiang Mai for a few months and then sold it. Whatever. Oh, I read that one. What? I don't know. I love this part of cruising, where like the sun's going down. I can't believe I still have such good connection that I'm able to do this video. To be honest with you, I mean, we left Stockholm an hour ago. I've not seen one cell phone tower. I don't know where the connectivity is coming from. But I'm sure I'll lose it at some point. So, Diva Donna's in the house. What's going on, Diva? For those that are just joining, I know we've had a big fluctuation of people coming in and out. We just left Stockholm, Sweden. We have a day at sea, and then we pull into Germany, and then a couple places in Denmark, and then Kristiansand in Norway. Stockholm, Sweden was beautiful, and we're turning again. Sun's going to be right on me again, I think. Taking Kevin's idea of renting fully furnished apartment, and now no more throwing money away. Yeah, I always rent fully furnished apartments. Even when I do long-term rentals, I do fully furnished. But yeah, we're pulling out of Stockholm. We actually pulled out of Stockholm about probably at least an hour ago, maybe longer. Are those mansions on the shores? Yeah, there's a lot of mansions on these little islands out here. It's really cool. Do they have lights on the water at night? I don't know. Oh, you mean on the ship? Yeah, I mean, there's all kinds of lights on the ship, on the cruise ship. I hear a helicopter. Anyone ever said you resemble Andre Agassi? So I got that when I first shaved my head. The thing I get the most is this guy, especially in Europe, is this guy Pep Guardiola, and I get sometimes Ed Stafford. The two most common I get are Pep Guardiola. I get that a lot, actually. I've actually signed autographs as the guy when I was in Hungary because they didn't speak English, and I was trying to explain that I wasn't him, and they wouldn't leave me alone, so I just signed autographs. So people think I look like Pep Guardiola. I don't really see it, but Google him and let me know what you think. And then Ed Stafford, who is an Australian who's a survivalist. So the two most common I get are Ed Stafford, or Pep Guardiola by far is the most one I get. I get it all the time in my comments on YouTube. I get it when I'm out in town, anywhere where people play soccer. And then I get Ed Stafford a lot, who's an Australian. Yeah. Do I think Stockholm is expensive? I mean, I only spent, 8, 9 hours there today, so I can't be a judge. I haven't lived there. I mean, you could buy a Pepsi for $1.10, which is much cheaper than the United States, but I don't know about everything else, so I can't really answer that question. I did eat lunch, and I think it was €9, I think. Yeah, so. Is it like New York? It's like New York right now. I don't think it's anywhere near New York prices. Nowhere's like New York in prices. Maybe Hawaii. Maybe Hawaii would be the one I would say is like New York. But I've never lived anywhere that was expensive as living in New York. Hey, look at the sun. It's not setting, but it's low enough where it's not super washing us out, and we're still turning, so. My part's Spanish. When I did my 23andMe, I am mostly British, or mostly Irish, English. I do have a little bit of French, German, and also a little bit of Iberian Peninsula, which would be Spain and Portugal. So, but it's very little. And I actually have a little bit of Scandinavian, and then a little bit of Ghana. This might have been better, huh? We'll go this way for just a little bit. I have 1% Lithuanian. Very cool. I've never been to Lithuania, but my friend's from Beer for Breakfast. One of the girls is from Lithuania. She's great. Woohoo! 200 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Show us some of the dance moves. Getting choppy when you move the phone around might be on the fringes of cell service. Okay, it's getting choppy. Okay, so I think what we'll do then is we'll end this live stream because I don't want it to end by itself. But and we've been going for a while anyway now. So thanks everyone for joining me on this live stream. I appreciate it. I'll try to do one. I'll try to announce it and do one. I might probably do one next Saturday, maybe Sunday. Saturday I'll be in England. Maybe next Sunday, but anyway, good seeing you guys. See you on the next one. Thanks for stopping by, and thanks for all the great questions.